Hi, it's Zubair, and for my midterm recipe, I'm making chicken 65. So, my family is Pakistani, and this dish is a fusion of South Asian and Chinese flavors. That's why we're using soy sauce and Chinese MSG, but it also has South Asian flavor components. For example, we'll be using a garlic and ginger paste, and we'll also be using tandoori masala. So it's a fusion food of Chinese and South Asian flavors, and it's really good and it's spicy, and I hope all of you try it. So I have all my mise en place set up. So what I started with first is this is 1 pound of chicken breasts that I've cubed and I've washed. It's in bite-sized pieces. As you can see, it's in pretty good pieces. So we're gonna start off by marinating and coating our chicken first. So traditionally what you would do is you would have a dredging station, so a bowl with egg wash and a bowl with flour. You dip the chicken in egg wash and flour. That's the traditional way of making it. If you want to follow that kind of standard, go ahead. But recently I've been trying to decrease my food waste. So a lot of times when you fry chicken, you have a lot of that flour left over. You end up having more flour batter. But once the raw chicken comes in contact with the flour, you can't save it anymore because of foodborne illnesses. Raw chicken's already touched it. So what I do instead to dredge my chicken is I'm just gonna toss together 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and 3 tablespoons of flour. It's mixed. This is enough where it's gonna coat the chicken to make it crispy, but we're not gonna have any leftover flour from dredging it. So this is the best way if you want to maximize profits. So, but before I do that, first I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of tandoori masala. This adds a really nice spice. I'm also gonna add in a teaspoon of Chinese MSG salt and a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm gonna add in a splash of soy sauce, around a tablespoon, but I'm usually good at eyeballing this part. And over here, I have 2 tablespoons of garlic ginger paste. So you might not know what this is, but garlic ginger paste is used in South Asian cooking in practically every dish. If you're gonna be making Indian or Pakistani food, you're gonna need garlic chili paste. So it's just 3 parts ginger, 2 parts garlic, and 1 part serrano peppers. So you just throw serrano peppers, peel ginger, and peel garlic cloves in the blender, add a little bit of water so it blends easier, and this is what you get. So I have 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna use 1 tablespoon right now on my chicken, and we're gonna save 1 tablespoon for that sauce. That's good enough. And we're gonna save some for the sauce. Okay, now that we've got all of our seasoning in, all that remains is our flour and cornstarch mixture. Okay. And like I said, this is so much better than having a whole cup of flour dipping your chicken. Then you have a lot left over and you have to throw it away. So this is the best way of doing it. I'm just gonna give that a stir until all the chicken pieces are evenly coated. Okay, so here's our chicken once it's mixed. How nice and spiced it looks. So I'm gonna let that sit for 10 or 15 minutes so the breading adheres to the chicken and also so it can marinate. So I just wanna quickly talk about the rest of our process. So what we're gonna essentially do now is I have a quart of oil heating up. I'm gonna be frying in the wok because a wok is spacious. You have a lot of room to fry, move things around. So I'll be frying my chicken in the wok. Once the chicken is nice and crispy, we're not cooking it until it's completely golden brown because the chicken's actually gonna cook a second time in the sauce. So what we're doing right now is we're only gonna cook it in the oil for 3 to 5 minutes so it becomes slightly crispy and it gets that crispy outer skin. Then it'll finish cooking inside of the sauce. So the sauce will consist of toasted cumin seeds. I have 10 to 12 whole red peppers over here. It's really spicy. Everything Pakistani is spicy, but this is really good. And over here, I have a half a cup of sambal chili paste. So again, this is that Chinese fusion flavor. I'm using sambal. It's similar to sriracha, but any kind of chili garlic paste will do. So we're gonna fry the chicken, then we'll toast our spices, sambal, and cumin. We're gonna add a cup of water. We're gonna bring that up to a boil. fried chicken goes in, cover it for 10 minutes, and boom, that's chicken 65. So let's get frying. Okay, so we're gonna do this in batches. I think I can knock this out in 2 or 3 batches because I don't want to overcrowd the pan. So what I'm gonna do is just toss in a chicken piece at a time. Keep in mind this, because we just mixed in all the flour and breading into our mixture, the chicken will kind of stick together, but you can very easily just pull it apart like that and just put it in. Take your time, and we're gonna fry this in 2 to 3 batches. So I'll get back to you when this is frying. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. This is how our chicken looks. All right, so you see how it's nice? It has that outer crispy skin, but I'm not gonna fry it more. I don't want it to get too golden brown or too dark in color because it's gonna cook again in our sauce. But this is exactly what you want. Fry it for 5 minutes, and you got that nice, slightly crispy outer skin. So I'm gonna drain the oil and take that out. Here is our chicken. As I showed, I fried it for 5 minutes, slightly crispy. You know what this reminds me of? If you ever get Chick-fil-A, their nuggets aren't like mashed up force meat. Yeah, this is kind of like the Chick-fil-A nuggets. They're really good. I might have one of these as is. But so I'm gonna heat up my wok to medium heat. Okay, once my wok is heated up, I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of canola oil. I'm gonna keep my heat on medium so I don't burn my spices. Right now we're gonna toast our spices. So 3 tablespoons of canola oil. I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of whole cumin seeds, along with my 12 chili peppers, and our remaining tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. So that goes in. So I'm gonna keep stirring. I don't want to burn my spices. So take a look over here. And I'm using a wok again because at this point, as you can tell, I love woks. You have a lot of leverage. So I'm just gonna toast my spices for 2 or 3 minutes until they're fragrant. Has turned a little dark brown and nutty. This is a good sign. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add our 1/2 cup of sambal chili paste. While mixing that, I'm gonna also add in our water. So I added in my sambal and 1 cup of water. It's right here in the pan. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring that up to a boil and return the chicken to the pan. So let's bring that up to a boil. So take a look at our sauce. It's boiling. Look how red it is, and it's nice and fragrant, and it smells spicy. So I'm gonna carefully add our chicken to our boiling sauce. The sauce is really spicy, but it's good. So I'm gonna toss to coat. Coat all the chicken in our spicy 65 sauce. And right now, as you can imagine, we added water to our sauce. It's just water, sambal, and our toasted spices. But we're gonna bring this back up to a boil, cover it, and simmer it for 5 to 10 minutes. And after we take the lid off, all that sauce is gonna be reduced and it's gonna be a glaze on the chicken. So let's just stir to combine. And then I'll cover my chicken. Okay, look at our chicken. It's covered in that sauce, but it's still not thick. So I'm gonna cover our pan. I'm gonna lower the heat to a simmer. And I'm gonna let this sit and simmer for 5 to 10 minutes until that sauce reduces and it becomes a glaze. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. I'm gonna pull this off now because I want it to stay a little bit saucy because I eat it with bread and then I don't want dried chicken and bread. So I'm gonna turn off my heat, and I'm not even gonna say anything. I just want you to check this out. So let's take the lid off and look at that. You see that dark red glaze? That's from our sambal, our tandoori masala, and our toasted cumin and whole peppers. Just look at how good and dark red that looks. So let's just give that a stir so you can see how rich this is. You see that? All that sauce, all that water has burned off from the pan, so it's just a thickened glaze. There's no water, just thickened glaze, and our chicken is completely coated. Okay, our chicken 65 is done. Look how nice and red and coated and glazed that chicken is. So to serve it, you just garnish it with cilantro. So I have a handful of cilantro over here, about 1/4 of a cup. I'm just gonna roughly chop it and mince it. All right, seems good enough. So we have our plate. Let's serve up some chicken 65. Again, I really hope you guys try it. Just take a look at that chicken. Look how dark and red it is and how saucy it is. Just look at that sauce. It's not even watery anymore. It's all been thickened and reduced. It's got a pepper in there. So here's our plate of chicken 65. So we'll leave this right here. And on top of it, for finishing touch, you get some fresh chopped cilantro. And that is authentic Pakistani chicken 65. So I really hope you try it. And if you want to reduce the spice, you can always cut back on the sambal, but I really encourage you to try it as is because it's really good. So enjoy. And this cilantro can just go right over.